Hey there, Mephisto here, welcome to the Anarchy Gaming channel, and the wait is finally over. It took some time, but the F1 Challenge VB series is back, and we'll be continuing from where we left off, which means that it is finally time for the 9th round of the 1970 F1 season, and that was the Austrian Grand Prix, held at the fantastic Österreich-Ring. The Austrian Grand Prix was held on the 16th of August. It had 24 entries, all of who were qualified for the race. In total, 9 people retired during the 60-lap race, which took 1 hour and 42 minutes to complete. Rindt was the fastest in qualifying and so started the race from pole. However, he unfortunately retired on lap 22 with an engine problem. Clay Regazzoni started from second on the grid, and completing the front row of the grid was Jackie X in third. On the second row were Jackie Stewart starting from 4th, who retired on lap 8 with a damaged fuel pipe. Ignazio Giunti started from 5th and ended the race in 7th, and Chris Amon rounded off the top 6 at the start of the race and finished in a respectable 8th. After a beautiful drive, X went from 3rd into the lead of the race and won the Austrian Grand Prix from Regazzoni, who kept his starting position and was just 0.61 seconds behind X. Stommelen also had a great drive since he started from 17th and moved up to take the 3rd spot in the standings. However, he was 1 minute and 28 seconds behind the leaders. Another good drive came from Mexican Pedro Rodriguez, who started from 22nd and ended up in 4th place. He was 1 lap behind the front runners. Jackie Oliver also had a decent drive, finishing in 5th, 9 spots higher than his starting place in 14th. He was 1 lap down as well. And rounding off the top 6 was Beltois, who gained just 1 spot. He was also 1 lap down. The fastest lap of the race was shared between X and Regazzoni, both setting a time of 1 minute 40.4 seconds. Welcome to the stunningly beautiful Österreich-Ring, a new fixture on the F1 calendar where a lap starts off with a very long sprint up the hill and into turn 1, a flat-out right-hander. From here we continue up the hill through a couple of kinks and eventually we make it into turn 2, a medium-speed right-hander. From here we go down the hill, at the end of which we find a left-hand kink followed by turn 3, a slow to medium-speed right-hander. Next up is turn 3, a medium-speed left-hander, followed almost immediately by turn 4, another medium-speed left-hander. This is followed by a right-hand kink, and eventually we reach turn 5, the last corner on the track, which is a medium-speed right-hander that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the fantastic Österreich-Ring. And we start off the racing weekend as usual with qualifying, as we set a 151.424, which isn't very fast, but there's not much I can do about it. And then I managed to set a 149.85, just a little bit faster. However, that was the fastest I managed to do, which, as I said, unfortunately wasn't all that fast at all. I think we will be starting from the very back of the grid as a result. We just saw the winner of the previous Austrian Grand Prix. As we take a look at the grid lineup, I kind of missed talking about this anyway. We have Brabham on 8th, then we have the Adamic in 9th, Rolf Stommelen 10th, 11th Jochen Rindt, Denny Holm 12th, 13th Bruce McLaren, 14th Pedro Rodriguez, 15th Ronnie Peterson, 16th Dan Gurney, Tim Schenken 17th, 18th is Francois Sever, Graham Hill starting from 19th, very bad qualifying for him it seems, John Love 20th, George Eaton 21st, Mario Andretti 22nd, Hubert Hanna 23rd, 24th Jackie Oliver, John Miles 25th, 26th is Emerson Fittipaldi, 27th Peter de Klerk, 28th John Surtees, 29th Peter Gessen, 30th Joe Siffert, 31st Silvio Moser, and 32nd Oliver Higgs. So yes, indeed, we are starting from the very back of the grid. Not a good thing, but hopefully we will be able to do well here, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, I apologize if the video looks a little bit different from how it used to. It's been a very long time since I've edited these videos and I forgot most of the things I used to do, so please bear with me until I manage to remember what and how I did them. I did take a look at my older videos just to get kind of an idea, but I still couldn't figure out too much, as we managed to overtake 30s coming into turn 1 here, as everyone is very slow. However, then I immediately lose that position as we take another look at the start of the race, and it looks like I have kind of an invisible car, and it's also embedded into the ground halfway. I'm not quite sure why that is. However, that's probably why I felt that the car wasn't performing very well. Anyway, continuing on, trying to catch up to John Surtees here, and there's a massive crash. Nearly collected that car on the right there. Not quite sure who it was, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough as we take a look at some replays here. First we have John Miles, who is in the Lotus there and was collected by one of the cars. He lost his front wing and front right wheel, and he's out of the race. And here is a replay of Hubert Hanna. That's who Miles crashed into, and that's who I almost collected as well. He crashes into one of the McLarens and is out of the race as well. And now we have a replay of Andrea De Adamic in the McLaren, who crashes into one of those advertising boards at the side of the circuit, rams up into the air, and, well, pretty much destroys his car. As we now come around to finish lap 1 and start lap 2, Andrea De Adamic is out, and we move up into P27, which is very nice. We also managed to gain a couple of positions on the initial accident. Anyway, we saw Joe Siffert there at the side of the track, and we move up one more position into P26. And here is a replay of Siffert, who apparently is having some problems with his suspension. He pulls off to the side, and that is his race over. And a little bit later on lap 2 here, we see Francois Sevin with smoke coming out of his car, so that is his race over, which makes Oliver Higgs very happy. And here's a replay where we see smoke and fire coming out of the rear of Sevin's Tyrrell. Coming now around to complete lap 3 here and start lap 4, as we take a look at a replay of Jackie X coming around to set the fastest lap of the race. And since this is the first ever time we race at the authorized ring, obviously this is a new track record, so congratulations to Jackie X for setting the fastest time of the race, especially since it's so early on in the race. Lap 5 now, and John Surtees is now out, so we move up into P25, chasing after Bruce McLaren at the moment. And here's a replay of John Surtees, who has some problems with his brakes, pulls off to the side of the track, and he is out of the race. Later on lap 5, Jackie X is also decided to retire for whatever reason, so that's one more position for us. So we move up into P24, and here is Jackie X with a suspension problem apparently. He also pulls off to the side of the track, and he is out as well. Lap 6 now, actually end of lap 6, starting lap 7 now, and Jean-Pierre Beltois is also out of the race. As we take a look at a replay of Beltois, who is coming into the pits with a gearbox problem, so he is out of the Austrian Grand Prix. Lap 7 here, and I lose control of the car coming into turn 3 here. I actually downshifted a little bit too early, which well, isn't a very good idea ever, and then I managed to kill my engine. And here is a replay of this. Once again I downshifted a little bit too early. There was too many revs. The rear wheel started spinning that, so I lost control, and then I kind of lifted off the clutch too quickly, which ended up in my engine stalling. So that is the end of Oliver's race, as well as we take a look at a replay of Jock Rindt, who ramps off one of those billboards at the start of the race, and he is out as well. And we see him now coming into the pits to confirm his retirement. Indeed, he is out. We also see Schenken coming into the pits. He's missing a front wing. However, it turns out he is trying to get back into the race apparently. The mechanics were looking at the car a little bit, but it seems that it's alright. He's back onto the track, and then just at the end, picked exit, he pulls to the side. Apparently he had a suspension problem. Weird that the mechanics didn't manage to observe that one whilst he was in the pit. That was Gathen coming into the pit. He had a gearbox failure, so he is out of the race. And this is Henri Pescarola also retiring on lap 11 thanks to a gearbox failure. We also have Chris Amon also with a gearbox failure. A lot of gearbox failures here. This is lap 13. Also on lap 13 we see Rolf Stommelen, who pulls off to the side of the track to retire with a suspension problem. Then on lap 14 we see Ethan coming into the pits for whatever reason. All I can say that he is going to be retiring. We now see a replay of Regazzoni with smoke coming from the rear of his engine. He pulls to the side of the track and he's out on lap 18, so he does qualify, but he does retire even though he finishes 90% of race distance. Ignazio Giunti also retires with a brake problem on lap 19, and we also have Ronnie Peterson here on the final lap of the race, pulling to the side and retiring from the race on lap 20. So the last 3 retirements are actually finishers since they completed 90% of race distance. As we now take a look at a replay of Jackie Stewart coming around to win the Austrian Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. Rodriguez second, Brabham third, 4th, Holm. I didn't catch the last 2, but that's okay. And here are all the retirements. Unfortunately, Oliver is among these people, which isn't very good, but hey, what can you do? Could have been worse. And here are the rest of the retirements. Quite a few people retired. In fact, more than half of the participants have retired, which isn't very good, but oh well. Anyway, let's move on. And here are the career statistics. This was Oliver's 9th ever start in Formula 1. His best start was from 23rd. Hasn't started from pole position yet. However, he has set a fastest lap. His best finish is in 1st. Has completed 5 races, 2 of them in the points. Has won 1 Grand Prix. However, that wasn't in Monaco. Hasn't won a championship yet. However, this is his first championship, so that's to be expected. Has scored a total of 11 points during his career. Has had 4 retirements. Has experienced 144 out of 202 laps. Has no bronze trophies, no silver trophies. Has 1 gold trophy, and as a result 1 podium. And now a very quick look at the championship standings. We have Pedro Rodriguez leading the championship with Jackie Oliver in 2nd, Stewart 3rd, 4th, Hubert Hanna, Oliver Higgs 5th, Brabham 6th. The last person with points is Graham Hill down in 25th, and bringing up the bottom of the driver's standings is Derek Bell down in 37th. And here are the constructors standings, where we have Yardley Team VRam leading the constructors championship with Goldleaf Team Lotus and Tyrrell Racing sharing 2nd on 16 points. Hubert Hanna Racing are 4th with 12 points. With 11 points sharing 5th are Pete Lovely Volkswagen Incorporated and Bruce McLaren Motor Racing. The last team with points are Brooke Bond Oxo Rob Walker in 15th, and bringing up the bottom of the constructors standings are Owen Racing Organization down in 19th. So that was the Austrian Grand Prix. Not a very good result for Oliver or for Volkswagen. However, I was a bit rusty whilst recording this video. I really haven't been playing a lot of F1 CVB since the last race, the German Grand Prix. I've been playing all sorts of other racing sims, and I got very used to stuff like Automobilista and Assetto Corsa, and obviously since they are more modern games, they feel much different and much better, obviously. So it is going to take a little bit of time before I get used to the controls in F1 Challenge again. So yeah, hopefully the remainder of the season will do a little bit better. I'm pretty sure we cannot win at this point anymore, so we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Don't forget to vote for next season's team. Link, as always, is in the description. Leave your thoughts, comments, and suggestions down in the comments section below. Like this video if you did. Subscribe for more content if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload videos. If you want to stay in touch with me, consider following me on Twitter, or you could join my Discord channel. Links to all of these are obviously in the description. If you want to, you could also check out my Patreon page and maybe consider leaving a donation, which would help the channel out quite a lot. So check that out if you feel so inclined. Once again, the links to all of these are in the description. And once again, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. See you all next time, but until then, take care and stay sharp.